Uh, so I must say, I went through uh, with Wuthering Heights and the person who directed or put forward Promising Young Woman coming out, and trying to make an adaptation of it, which she's going to take extensive artistic license with. I don't want this. I don't know what's been with the craze for Emily Bronte, but I wanted to make a statement about Wuthering Heights, especially owing to the fact that there's this dumbass class of videos that basically says you only think you hate Wuthering Heights, you don't actually hate it, you haven't really considered. No. Back the fuck off with that, is all I can say. Stop gaslighting me. I hate Wuthering Heights, and, I'm gonna get into it. I, like many people, followed the threads around the internet and saw, you know, that it was referred to as a romance by a lot of people, and this classic was considered by many people to be a romance novel series. And so, I went in and I looked at it, and I found that Heathcliff was an immensely unlikable character, and so was Kathy, and everybody involved in it, and all the people in it are pretty terrible people. They all act as if they deserve the world, and they don't. None of them do. They treat each other in absolutely appalling ways. I watched one of the adaptations of it, and the movies that was made about it, as an adaptation of it as well, and I sat through it, and I couldn't help but notice Heathcliff, who's supposed to be the male protagonist, and the numerous episodes of battery of women where he's beating his female charge, and I mean, this is supposed to be, a romance novel where he's kicking the shit out of the girl. So it's an abusive relationship that he has with woman after woman after woman over the timeline of the series, and everything. And then Kathy goes and picks a man just because that man is successful in a way that Heathcliff isn't yet at that stage in the whole thing. And then they, and I watched this and I just never could get past it. And, everybody else is coming out, and, one of the things that's been said is that, this should be considered a gothic horror story, not a romance, not a love story, and everything is a take, and maybe people could appreciate it from that lens. But this story was sold to me as a love story. I went in with the expectations of a love story, and instead I got one where Heathcliff batters the hell out of women. And got subjected to that shit. And, I saw all that taking place on screen, and I thought, I want to set this goddamn thing on fire. And to anybody who thinks that I just don't understand, or that I'm not really, no, I am completely in touch with myself to the core. I'm not deceiving myself. I hate this book, and if you think that I'm fooling myself, or that I only think I do, you're delusional. This is psychosis on your part. I actually deeply hate it to the core of my being, in such a way that I will never, ever appreciate it. I will never get past this. I will never be able to forgive it. I will never go back and redo the experience and reevaluate these feelings. These feelings will be mine for the rest of my life, and there's nothing that could ever reverse my opinion on this one. The reason why it's this way is that I was told it was a love story, and what I got was a fucking horror show. I will never forgive that. Fuck everybody who recommended this to me as a love story.